Welcome to Vlogmas Day 13. I'd like to thank all my existing subscribers and welcome to my channel, my new subscribers, and hope you enjoy what I have to offer. I am in my lounge and there is a close-up of the wreath that I altered in the other video I did. You do see my tree in the background, and this is my mantle. I do like this, and I've gone more like a natural look. I have had colour schemes in the past, but I've got rid of most of the gold if it's only just like an accent colour now. I just like all the natural pieces and poinsettias you'll see a lot around my home this year. I haven't actually spent a lot on Christmas decor. A lot of the new pieces I have actually purchased after the previous Christmas, as I've stated in my videos, and that's how I keep the costs down. Now I'm going to swing round just a fraction, and there is my tree, and the subject of today is books and how I corral my books. I do not have a lot of books, I must admit, and that is one of the baskets I'm going to show you in a moment. And I am trying to give you an idea how my home looks. It is a tiny home and it has actually suited us fine. We have been here just over 30 years now in the same home. So coming from the lounge, we have what I call my little back doorway. As you can see from the floor, it is not that big. I try and keep it as decluttered as possible, although you could see in the background there is the butler and the maid. I'm just going to put some more lighting on for you. They don't normally go there. They're usually up in the upstairs cupboard upstairs, and sometimes, as you might have seen them, in my dining room, which is the door opposite to my lounge. It's just that with all the tinsel, I've been trying to hoover up, and I'm trying to keep on top of the ironing and laundry. So that is the square footage. It's not that big. In there, which I will be doing another video on, that is my craft stroke office cubby. It's just literally a walk-in cupboard that we've took the door off, and it suited me really fine. And as I say, up there I finally put a piece of artwork up. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. I believe that could have been from Tesco's. Again, I've had it a few years and I've bought it after Christmas. As with the other piece of art I have, which is this reindeer one which says, "Oh my dear." It's just a little backdrop for my other couple of deers I have. And that one I believe could have been from Wilko's after Christmas again. A lot of this artwork I only pay like £1.25, £1.50, something like that. I have changed the top of my bookcase, and I'm going to just back up and give you an idea of my bookcase. Now this is the one and only storage for my books, and I try and keep all my books together. If I happen to bring a book in the home, I try and get rid of one to keep them down. It's got to the stage now that I haven't really got any books I can get rid of. As I've pointed out, that basket down there has 2 sets of size clogs. So if you need to go out the back door there, you're not rummaging all the way around for shoes. Right, let me start at the top. I have pulled out some of my Christmas books. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't. It depends on the print, because a lot of the time the print is small. And I do a lot of reading, possibly in the evenings. You do get tired, but I do use my Kindle a lot. Plus it's got, as you know, the light within the writing, and you can alter the print to how big or how small you want it. One of my favourite books, and I'm going to point this one out, is this one. And it is by Sheila Roberts, 9 Lives of Christmas. Now this one is very similar to a movie. I'm not sure if it's actually been shown this year. It has been shown in the past. About a cat who's sort of adopted a fireman, and about a student, a female student, who is training to be a vet, and she works in a pet store. The book is very similar to the movie. I've seen both. The book is more on the lines of Ambrosia, I think his name is, the cat, from his point of view. So it has a few little funny bits in it, and I'm not sure if her cat is Queenie. And I say, it's a really good book, and I just thought I'd point that one out. And I use my Christmas books, which are normally on one of the shelves, has a bit of decor. The bookends was another item I bought in the sale. I am not 100% sure where they actually came from, and the deer, as you've seen in a previous video, was a casualty, but I like that, and I like that rough looking look. That was from Poundland. Another little deer I bought last year, is this sweet little wooden deer, and I got that from a craft fair. I do have quite a selection of books, especially romance novels, and I understand the whole series here. So hubby says, oh, about getting rid of them, you've read them. Yes, it's one thing I have kept hold of. I have got rid of a hell of a lot of books, so that all the books only stay in one bookcase. Some of the books I've tried to get secondhand through Amazon and other book sites. There has been one or two that I have actually paid full price. As you've probably seen from previous videos, I try not to buy things at full price. Now, I have pointed this out before. I think the Peter Rabbit set I brought for, I believe it was $2 or $3.99 from a charity shop. I have also bought this book here, and actually it's still got the price on. Look at that, 20p, 365 stories and rhymes for girls. I've just kept that up. Some of the books I've actually sent for my granddaughter, and a lot of these I paid like 20 or 30p, and I've got a set of these books here as well. Oops, I've dropped that. And I believe they're all by Jill Murphy. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'll have to pick those books up in a minute. And I've got like this Snappy Crocodile, and it's got like the puppet in, and again 20 or 30p. And this one, that was part of a bundle that I think I paid $5 for 99p. And this one was a little bit more expensive. How Many Teddies Can You See? And I will go into more detail with that book at another time. As I say, I do change my books round depending on the season for the top. And down the bottom, it has got folders from my MVQ, In Care, End of Life, and also CVs. Basically, they could actually go up in the games room. That has been a project most of the year. It's one of those jobs I've left. because I haven't needed the space. While they're there, I'm not clogging up the bookcase anymore. Some of the books I've actually had a long time, and maybe being a little bit old-fashioned, I do have a couple of dictionaries. I know it's quite easy to pick up the phone or a laptop or something to check the spelling, but I still do letter writing, and I've got dictionaries. To show you the little tote that I've got in the lounge, and also a closer look at one or two of the books. Right, this is the tote I keep in my lounge. Very often it's turned the other way around, has been there since last Christmas actually, and I've just turned it around because it's got this lovely buffalo check and the reindeer. I got that from Home Bargains. This is the largest size. I believe that was $3.99. But I just want to show you the contents of this tote. I leave this in the lounge because when I spend time with the family at night and we're watching programs or whatever, sometimes I will pick up books that you could just flick through or get ideas from and things like that. And I'll discuss them as I'm going along. I've also got a few children's books there. I do have children visiting, and also, although my granddaughter's only 1 year old, I've been collecting books for her as well. The first one I want to show you is this one. It's called The Perfect Christmas. $4.99 this was. I'm not sure if it's actually got the price on the back. Sometimes it does have the price on these. I've had this one a fair few years, and this one, I'm sure, looking at the price tag, I look at books when I'm at garden centres. Sometimes I have some really lovely books, and this is just called The Perfect Christmas, and it's just got some lovely recipes in and everything you need to know about Christmas. I'm just flicking through now, and some of the decorations, it's like that wreath. I think that is gorgeous. I do like that. I'm just giving you some ideas. So I'm more and more going in for the natural. Now, a little while ago, that would have been me with more the glam look, but I'm more for a natural. I do like those as well. As I say, it's a lovely book and got some ideas. This is the sort of thing, I mean, would you call it a coffee table book? I don't tend to leave books on my coffee table, I must admit. I keep them in the top. So that's the sort of thing I would sit down and flip through, even watching TV. I have got the console Wii. It's the only console that's actually mine. And I had this when it first came out. We Wish You a Merry Christmas. It has holiday games, and each day you can decorate the virtual tree as well. And there's the back. I do like puzzles. What I do like is the elves playing bowling. And I do get the family involved. As I said, they're more for the up-to-date consoles. The Wii, I've had years, but I'm quite proud of it because it's the one console that basically I've got my name on it. It is mine. So I always bring this out beginning of December. Now this section here, I've got some DVDs. I actually bought these last year. I'll quickly go through them. I think these are all from Kex actually. I did get some from a car boot that's in one of my holiday crates, buried in my gift stash, which I'm going to unearth. This one is the Simpsons Christmas, especially for my son. Christmas Eve. I do like Patrick Stewart. And I have actually watched this one. I did watch this one last Christmas, I must admit. This Scrooge with Albert Finney. This one, as you can see, I paid 10p for. This gets watched every year without fail. It's one of those. We do watch quite a few different versions of the Christmas Carol or Scrooge, but this one is one that comes out and it is one of my absolute favourites, and I do like this one. We have got Santa's Little, is it Santa's? Yeah, Santa's Little Helper. The Christmas Coopers, I think that might be on Netflix now. I haven't, that's another one I haven't actually seen. I've got the Christmas Angel and then the Christmas Miracle. I do like Christmas DVDs, and I'll either watch them and give them away, or if it's one that I haven't got already, I will take them out the cases and they'll go in one of my DVD boxes. Going back to my tote, one thing I was bought last year from my, I believe this was from my BFF, Merry and Bright, word search colouring and crosswords and bits and pieces, and it's basically a puzzle book and colouring. I've left that out, and I will actually put a pen and some crayons or felt tips with it as well. Very often it's like a jigsaw. If the jigsaw is out, they'll probably say, no, I don't want to do a jigsaw. Even Hobby does it. But if it's out and I've started it and I've disappeared or something, you come back and they're doing the jigsaw. And it's the same things with things like this. Another thing that came from my BFF last year is this one. That's Not My Owl. This was to me and our granddaughter, and it is a lovely book, and it's got this feely and touchy bits and pieces inside. So this is just right for her, and that's like a scratchy, rough texture. So it's a texture book, and this one is by Osborne. So there is that book. And say I don't very often pay full price for books. The next one I bought last year for 30p from the car boot. No, sorry, from the charity shop, was the 12 Days of Christmas. Just something I say to read. The next one I've got, I paid 30p for again, is The Christmas in the Mouse House. And this is like a little pop-up book. You can see that. It's just a pop-up book, but it is lovely. I mean, look at this. Amazing condition. And I know when my boys were little, they loved anything like this. So, I do tend to look. My charity shop, Bernardo's, my local one, is brilliant, especially for books. This is another one I got from the charity shop. Again, this one was 20 or 30p. I bought this last year, and it's a hardback book. And I'll just quickly flip through. And there's some lovely bright colour. And actually, that one was a Marks and Spencer's book. One I did pay, and I paid £1 for it from Poundland last year, was The Night Before Christmas. And I think the illustrations in this one are lovely. Lovely and bright. Look at that. Amazing. I did get a strange look when I bought this book, because I bought about 6 of them. And I was giving them out to family members instead of a card. Now, when you think of £1, although I keep saying this, I've made all my Christmas cards myself. I said to them with a little note, this is instead of a card. And to this day, most of my relations, as far as I know, one especially that I see regularly, do have this book. That's just a little thing. I'm not sure if they brought it out again this year, but last year, say, I went up, could have been even 8 copies of this, and I just gave them out instead of cards. I just think it's a lovely book. Another one here, this is DK. I have had this book, The Ultimate Christmas, for years. I think I paid possibly about £10 for it. It has got a price tag of £16.99. I'm not sure. I'm quite positive I didn't pay that. This was when I was actually working full time, so that shows you how many years ago it is. Again, it's a breakdown of Christmas traditional trees. It shows you how to make things. It's one of those books I like flicking through. Again, talking about candles. I mean, some of the pictures may not be to everybody's taste, but you could come away with ideas, and that's what it's about. It's just got some recipes at the back. I've tried to refrain from buying any more. I did buy a Christmas cookbook, which I paid 50p from Car Boot, and that is actually up on the shelf in my craft cubby, and that was mainly to do a Christmas junk journal on, where in the other book I only actually ended up using like the dust cover, so I haven't actually used the book. Now, in 3.5 years I have not brought magazines. A couple of times people have given me magazines to look at, which is fine, especially if it's seasonal. So here's one that I was actually given. It's Cupcake Heaven. It is autumn winter 2012. I was given it through a craft club, and again this would have all different cupcakes in, and some of them are amazing. I try not hold on to books because, let's face it, you can get an awful lot off the internet. Now, I've tagged this with one of my paper clips, and I have to show you this. This is something I'm hoping, I'd love to be able to get round to making. And this is mincemeat cupcakes. Now, my family, they do like some cakes, but they're not into a lot of fancy icing, and hubby doesn't like marzipan. And I will say whether I end up actually making this. I'm hoping to do this year. And there's the ingredients. I'll just give you a close-up. I don't know if anybody else has actually made these before. And sorry for any reflection of any lights. I hope that's a bit better. But that is one thing I'm hoping to accomplish this year. I have said this before, sometimes I make notes, and if I don't have time to do it that particular year, I will put it on for next year. And I have actually accomplished everything that I said I was going to do for this year. That was on my list, that I had the ideas from the previous year like. But that cupcake recipe I'd love to have a go at. The next one is the Family Circle Christmas Crafts. This is another book. It's got $4.99 on, so I presume that's the price I paid, and I know this is years old. And some of them are really scuffed, because you can tell the books that I've actually read a lot or done bits and pieces with. It's got all the patterns at the back. I do have bits of paper where I've made notes and things that I've done. And I do like all that with the angels and everything. And different bits in that one. So another Christmas book. Again, this time of year, I keep it out. This is another magazine I was given. Homemaker Christmas. I don't do a lot of sewing. I have in the process of making some felt elf boots. Just a little Christmas tree decoration that I'm making at the moment. I started it in Craft Club this week. A lot of them were doing like trees and stars and things. I just wanted to make some elf boots. Again, what I normally do is if I don't want to keep the whole magazine, I will just cut out bits and pieces. This one actually has some nice little papers in, which you can use, or I can get my friends' grandkids to do bits and pieces. Look at that with the Brussels sprouts. And then that one, and then you've got that one, which you could actually frame. Have a very Merry Christmas. And then there's that little bit at the bottom, mince pies and some bits and pieces in the magazines. I said I've been very good, and I don't, as I said, it's been about 3.5 years. 3 years ago I was made redundant, and then 6 months previously to that it was announced. So that's when I stopped having all my magazines. I used to have about 3 a month. And of course it mounts up. Now I go into like the works, and you can buy a reasonable book for that. This one was actually an ex-library book, A Victorian Christmas, and it's just interesting. I mean, it is more for a child, obviously, but some of the bits and pieces that are in here, and reading about Christmas back in that era, I just find it interesting. Not the sort of time I would like to live, I must admit, but it is interesting. This fact here always crops up when I first read it to hubby, because we always watch Scrooge / Christmas Carol every year, was this one, the baker's oven. Many poor people did not have an oven. They took their goose or other meat to the baker's oven to be cooked. Look at the picture on page 12, which is over here. And you can see that how it was, they used to cook the meat and everything in the baker. Now, it always crops up. Something, and maybe a little bit stupid, is because Scrooge, in most of them, turns up with the price turkey. Now, I've got a book set of the house. It also covers the 1940s, Edwardian. It's a complete box set. It was expensive, but it was something I believe was completely shown on TV. And it did actually do a Victorian time. And when they tried out the actual range, it took like 6 hours just on a very tiny chicken. And I say, just a little bit of information there. So that's that one. Again, that's something I just like to bring out. And I remember reading this with my boys, which are both in their 20s now. And we just used to discuss the Victorian time, because, as I say, each year Christmas Carol / Scrooge is played. Admittedly, they did have, dare I say, and I'm sure I'm going to get comments about this, they did have the Muppets Christmas Carol on. And I did sit through it, and I didn't mind it. I did laugh at it, I must admit. But again, it's one of those Christmas seasonal movies. All the adults wanted to watch the Muppets Christmas Carol, and there was me with me diehards waiting to watch an action movie. That's quite funny sometimes. There's me with the action movies, there's the adults, the rest of the adults, especially males, wanting to watch animation. I will say we did watch Frozen, and I just love that movie. Right, so that's just, as I say, my book collection. If anybody's interested, I will discuss some of my other books. As I say, like these few here. We've been away in the caravan and I like something to read. I do have my Kindle. As I say, I'm not one that reads heavy, what I call heavy stuff. And I have bought books from, say, The Works, very reasonable, like this nail art book. As you know, although, excuse my nails, they do need redoing. And very often, look, I've put the tag inside. It was originally £9.99 down to £5 and then down to £3. Let's face it, you pay an awful lot for magazines, and then I can get subjects that I do like. I say I've got that one. In the past, I've also got this card making. That was £2.99. These are all from The Works. I've also got this one, which is quick and easy handmade cards. There's the tag again. I don't know what it was without taking the tags off. I know it was more than £2, but I got it for £1.50. And I think, yes, I'll buy that rather than pay more than that, maybe double, treble the price for a magazine. I'm not knocking magazines, and I love them. It's just that I know they've got to get the money back on producing these things. And another book that I've bought, I paid £3 for this one. I'm not sure how much this was. I don't know whether it's got any price, but it does look hefty book, and hubby did smile when I bought this because it was in the caravan. It's The Crafty Minx at Home, and it's just got some lovely pictures. Unfortunately, this is nothing really to do with well, I was going to say Christmas, but I believe it does actually go through different themes. This is another book that I occasionally leave out, and I just love that old dressing table. Something old like that, just change the knobs, paint the legs, and you've got a different look. Sorry to judge it, I've got it balanced on my knee. And how pretty is that for a little girl's room? I say, it is an amazing book, and it does give you tricks, and it does sort of break down pieces and give you ideas on different bits and pieces, how to display your decor and photographs, pictures. And as I say, I do love those ladders, I really do. If I had the room, I would have a ladder shelving unit. I'm going to finish there. I could go into that more detail if anybody's interested. As I say, that was from The Works. I did get that last year. I don't think it was this year. I'm going to leave, I keep saying that I'm going to leave it there, because if I'm not careful, I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee, and I'm going to end up picking up one of these books, because that's the only trouble. I've done that when I've shown my craft space as well. I have to rein myself in, do the video, or do what I'm doing and not get sidetracked. As I said, that's not really necessarily a Christmas book, but all this is like Christmas related, and it's there. On my Christmas, should I say, on my DVD list, I do have a DVD list. I do buy a hell of a lot of DVDs, whether it's from Kex. I try, again, something I try not to buy brand new. I did buy one this week, actually, but I weighed that against going to the cinema. And on my list, it's like the Halloween ones. I will put, for the Christmas ones, a red C by it, so I can flick through and I can easily find my Christmas movies. We have watched The Grinch, and I'm waiting to watch Elf. My family are not so keen on Elf. I like to watch it. I don't know if anybody else does. And I do have quite a list, and of course the diehards are there as well. So I must get on. I'm hoping to show you my bedding that I've changed on our bed. Okay, I've just changed the Christmas bedding on our bed, and this set I bought from Georgia Astor after Christmas. This set was, I understand, was £5. And I said about the cushions, I got those off of Next again. And I keep repeating myself, I do buy an awful lot after Christmas. I do roll down blankets, and I do like reversible blankets. Now, I've got, I would say, 3 sets that I use over Christmas. The set that I've already had on my bed, which you've seen. I've also got like a tartan set where I've actually got the bottom sheet to match, and that sometimes brings this blanket the other side round. This Chinese blanket we've had, I would say, about 15 years, something like that anyway, and it's constantly washed and it's brilliant. It's been to the caravan a number of times as well. And so I'll just give you, and of course Owl is still out, and the reversible polar bear for my granddaughter to play with is just there. So I just wanted to show you the bedding. As I said, it's not a very big bedroom, but saying that, as I said before, we do have quite a few wardrobes. So it just shows off. I've still got my granddaughter's Christmas Eve box just there. These are what we use quite a lot. I had these from Amazon last year. Of course, owls with the grips and a really thick liner. Hubby, I also buy every year fresh ones. It's got a number of these heat socks with the non-slip bottoms. My son wears them as well, and they're great, and they keep your feet warm, especially if you're not ones to wear slippers all the time. These monkeys were unearthed out of one of the boxes, and I keep doing this with them. These were what came free with tea bags a few years ago. I'm not sure if they bring a new monkey out each year or whether it was just that year. And then in my basket over here, I've actually got bits and pieces, my next lot to be wrapped up, which I'll be doing either later this afternoon or this evening. So that's ready to be done. As I said, I think the bedding just sets off the room lovely. I say I've got about, I understand, 3 sets. A lot of my bedding does have touches of red in. And on my wish list, I do have a wish list. Some things are maybe silly to people, but I have it in my notebook, and I also have it on my phone, is I do need some more fitted sheets. As you possibly know, following my vlogs, is my son did have a new bed. I'd already bought the Christmas bedding, so that wasn't a problem, and I did have spare fitted sheet, but after Christmas he's going to need some more bedding. He hasn't actually seen anything he particularly likes at the moment. I do have some spare bedding, but as I say, most of it has touches of red in. On one of our shopping trips, when he was on holiday, he did get that lamp which he bought from Dunelm, and it's one of those touch sensitive ones, and it's got like 3 brightness on it, so that was handy, because although it's kept his standard lamp, which is over here, it's a bit awkward to actually reach over for it. So, and I am actually quite impressed that at the moment the tree is still up, and a little bit of decor. As I say, I haven't gone over the top this year because he originally said no decorations, but it's still there. And I've noticed the guys did, it's a little bit dark there, wrap my stocking fillers up that they did get from Poundland. And they're waiting for the Christmas stocking. Now, I could have easily put them in the Christmas stocking, but I don't want to be accused of trying to guess what's in the packets. And as I pointed out before, the only little extra bit I have got up here, I've changed over one of his pictures, and it's got driving home for Christmas, which I love, and it does light up. I got that from the range. So that is the beds. As I say, I've washed my son's bed in and it's gone straight back on his bed. Originally, you see, he did have also 3 lots of bedding, but it was a single size. So I could change them out each week leading up to Christmas. But as I said, I'm not going to bother, I think, buying any more Christmas bedding for his bed. He does like this design. And it's on the cushion. And as I said, this lot came from Studio Cards. So I'm going to get on now. I hope you've enjoyed this video about books and bedding. Have a good day.